would you mind? Like many of the speakers you've heard tonight, I'm from the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, which is the organisation that led on organising tonight's protest and organised a protest in central London 2 weeks ago where thousands marched to protest at the Russian embassy. I'm the trade union officer of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign. I'm an activist in the trade unions Unison and the Fire Brigades Union. And of course, UK trade unions have stood strongly in solidarity with Ukraine, being the most important social movement in Britain standing in solidarity with Ukraine. We're here tonight because we face a massive global political challenge to rouse our civil societies, our workers' movements, other social movements, to ramp up solidarity with Ukraine in this crisis, and through that, push our governments to act. But part of political support is practical solidarity, and I need to say a few words about that. Ukraine Solidarity Campaign runs regular appeals to raise funds for workers' movement-linked causes in Ukraine, whether that's support for particular army units fighting at the front, or support for essential workers doing their life-saving work behind the lines. Since the full-scale invasion, we've funded and delivered vehicles, equipment and other aid worth hundreds of thousands of pounds to army units, miners, schools, hospitals and recently firefighters and rescue workers, so people in the industry I work in. Now we have a new appeal to fund the purchase of specialist materials needed to make effective camouflage netting to protect Ukrainian frontline defenders. This netting is being produced at Step to Victory, which is a social centre in Persia-Trevensk in eastern Ukraine, set up by mining trade unionists from Luhansk who were forced to flee by the invasion. A leaflet for the appeal has gone round the crowd. Please support it. You can donate online. You can also donate by coming up to me and stuffing cash into my hands, or by using the card reader I have, so please do come and donate tonight. Let's say that tonight, alongside political solidarity, we also help build practical solidarity. Thank you, and please support Ukraine Solidarity Campaign.
One thing this British government could do to support Ukraine is to seize the Russian assets, to seize the billions of pounds which are stashed away in the City of London, the laundromat for money laundering. This money can be used for the reconstruction of Ukraine, a social and just Ukraine after the war. It can be used now for medical aid. It can be used now to arm Ukraine, whereas Trump is stepping back. So you should go to your MPs, you should talk to them and say, cancel the debt to Ukraine, seize the Russian assets for Ukraine to be able to continue to fight for its liberation and for its freedom. Our next speaker is a Ukrainian here in London, Ola, who's a poet, and she's going to read a poem, a brief poem in Ukrainian and in English, if I understand.
Every word matters, so I will read a poem about Taras Shevchenko, our Ukrainian warriors, and key moments of the Ukrainian resilience. I saw Taras in February queue to the recruitment office, slowly inching. He frowned while trying on the new high combat boots. The Russians were flinching. I saw him in the trenches piercing cold, the vaults of Azovstal, Teroborona, with a boiled water or a spirit of the Lord, with a guitar just on the subway, on the corner. I saw him on an island in the sea with that nice message to the Russian ship. I saw him in abject captivity. The earth was weeping blood. Drip, drip. I saw him under torture for a dime on the gunpoint of the Russia's chain. I saw him smoking for the final time and saying, "Glory to Ukraine! Слава Україні!" Я бачив Тараса у лютому в черзі попід військкоматом в селі, як хмуре в чоло, приміряючи берці, і шарпались десь москалі. Я бачив його у окопі холоднім, в мурах Азовсталі, утро із чаєм, окропом чи духом Господнім, з гітарою десь у метро. На острові в морі, мовляв, на долоні, з посланнями до корабля. Я бачив його у рашистськім полоні, і кров'ю ридала земля. Я бачив його під тортурами в стайні, на мушці в руках зарізак, як він тютюном затягнувся востаннє і «Слава Вкраїні!» сказав. Слава Україні!
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Our next speaker is Vicky Blake from the trade union, the Universities and Colleges Union, a union along with some others like Unison, the GMB, the Train Drivers Union, which have been solid friends of the people of Ukraine, in particular the trade unions of Ukraine. They've sent aid, they've twinned with schools and colleges in Ukraine to give them aid and to support in these hard times. Anyway, big welcome for Vicky Blake.
Thank you. Friends, I'm Vicky Blake and I'm speaking as a member of UCU's National Executive Committee. And I was UCU's UK President when Putin launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. And I was proud to carry our union banner on an early Ukraine Solidarity Campaign demo. In May 2022, I participated in an ETUCU mission investigating and advocating for education provision for Ukrainian refugee children and young people in Romania and Moldova, and I saw how vital international solidarity is in practice. I saw Romanian and Moldovan trade unions making an immediate difference and how urgently we must respond in times of crisis. And today, outside the US Embassy, we say no to Trump, we say no to Putin, and we say yes to self-determination, to dignity and democracy for Ukraine. We recognise that Ukraine's fight is part of the global struggle against authoritarianism, imperialism and the far right. And Ukraine's incredible resistance has now entered its 4th year. The people of Ukraine, we know you are fighting for survival, for democracy and that right to self-determination. Principles that should fundamentally matter to everyone. And we know Putin is not acting alone. His friends extend far beyond the Kremlin, and we're here today because in the US, Trump and his allies disgracefully threaten the total abandonment of Ukraine, deploying this as a cynical form of leverage for a so-called deal, inviting more destabilization, violence and destruction in Ukraine and beyond. And of course, none of us wants war, but peace imposed through imperial domination is no peace at all. Ukraine's struggle is bound to that wider fight for the global security and justice that we all need, and Ukrainian resistance is a lesson to us all. Trump's return to power threatens not only Ukraine, but peace and democracy around the world, and our answer as trade unionists must be internationalism, because solidarity does not stop at borders. It is people to people, union to union, school to school, worker to worker. And I'm proud to be a founding member of UCU Members for Ukraine, and we have worked to build and promote understanding of the issues inside our union. We've been running webinars on academic twinning and energy security. We've publicised an appeal for a school in central Ukraine, and we have been working very closely with the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, and we secured UCU's affiliation to USC. And we're just really pleased to be able to say that here. Later this month, so at the end of March, UCU will welcome a Ukrainian speaker at our flagship education policy conference to help us consider how we, as educators and trade unionists, can support the rebuilding of education under attack. And at our annual conference last year, we reaffirmed our commitment to support humanitarian appeals, build direct links with Ukrainian institutions and unions, and to resist the gendered violence of war. Solidarity cannot be merely symbolic. Solidarity has to be practical. It means listening to what's needed, delivering direct aid, and challenging disinformation wherever we find it. And we all have a part to play. We all have skills to offer. They might be different skills, but we all have skills to offer. As educators in UCU, we can offer support and we can offer educational resources. We can help refugees access education, and we can stand with our Ukrainian colleagues, keeping education going under unimaginable conditions. But solidarity is not neutral. It means standing with the oppressed, not the oppressors. It means defending the truth of what Ukrainians are living through. No to Putin, no to Trump, yes to Ukraine, and yes to decisions for Ukraine made by the people of Ukraine. Yes to international solidarity. Slava Ukraini!
Occupation is not peace! 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 Stop! Trump! No state visit! Stop! Trump! No state visit! Stop! Trump! No state visit! Stop! Trump!
Thank you very much. Now, our next speaker is Darina from the Goldsmith University Ukrainian Society. Big welcome for Darina.
Thank you so much. How Zelensky was talked to in White House is a disgrace to the United States of America. Huh? How Zelensky was talked to in White House is a disgrace to the United States of America. You might or might not like him, but he was representing people of Ukraine and open to any conversations with our partners.
Friends, we've got speaker.
Mr. Speaker, can you wait aside?
People in US should wake up because their country is on its way to dictatorship, and that unfortunately will affect the whole world, especially Ukraine. How can you try to shame national leaders for not wearing a suit, while at the same time Russia launches drones on living quarters? How can you tell him just to be grateful when millions of Ukrainians suffer consequences of this invasion? Some of American politicians don't have any conscience or sense of responsibility, and someone needs to tell him that. And who's gonna do it? Us. Слава Україні! Слава нації! Україна! Україна! Yeah. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is from the Green Party. It's great to have speakers from various political parties in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. And it's Caroline Russell.
That's correct.
Caroline Russell from the Green Party. She's also a member of the Greater London Assembly.
That's correct. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody, and it is so amazing to see so many people here in support of Ukraine. Now more than ever, Europe has to stand united. We are 3 years on from Russia's illegal and deadly full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Europeans must do all we can to support Ukrainian people in the struggle for freedom, self-determination and a just and lasting peace. The Green Party, not just in England and Wales, but across Europe and the globe, reaffirm our steadfast support for Ukraine. Russia's war of aggression is a breach of international law and justice, and the utterly shameful, vindictive treatment of President Zelensky in Washington last week by President Trump and Vice President Vance was a new low, which which only played into Putin's hands and shows just how far the world order has shifted. Attempts to forge a peace deal negotiated over the head of Ukraine is not acceptable. Ukraine must be at the centre of any talks. Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and nothing about Europe without Europe. So European countries, including the UK, must now work together to push for peace. And now is also the time to fully seize the frozen Russian assets to further boost Ukraine's defence. And remember, without the revenue and leverage provided by European dependence on Russian fossil fuels, Putin could not have waged his illegal war against Ukraine. Net zero is also a security issue. We must remember that the European Union was and remains a peace project built on the shared values of freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law, and human rights. For peace and security in Ukraine and in Europe as a whole, we must stand united with EU leaders and others across the world against those who wish to divide us. Slava Ukraini!
Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets!
Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Cancel the debt! Seize the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets! Seize the Russian assets!
Seize the Russian assets! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more! 5, 6, 7, 8!
Russia is a terrorist state!
1, 2, 3, 4! Occupation no more! 5, 6, 7, 8! Russia is a terror state! 1, 2, 3, 4! Occupation no more! 5, 6, 7, 8! Russia is a terror state! Thank you very much for your contribution to this meeting tonight by chanting over here. Now we'll go back to the stage, and we've got Golan from an organisation called Atlas, who is an organisation which is campaigning against occupations around the world.
So we're here today because we believe that in unity we can actually stand strong. We believe that in unity Ukraine can win. We've seen it. A few countries get to pull support away and suddenly Europe comes together. Suddenly Europe says no more. Finally, maybe Europe decides to stand strong. Europe decides to send weapons, peacekeepers, money, support, hopefully to cancel the debt as we just chanted. But we need more, because today we still see hesitation. After more than 3 years of war, we still see countries hesitating on whether to stand by Ukraine, hesitating on whether to stand against Putin's invasion, occupation, bombardments. We still see countries weighting the price of human life against the potential profits from minerals. How is that still the case 3 years on? How is that still acceptable? It isn't. Because we know that a Russian peace is no peace at all. This is not the first time Russia has invaded, occupied, bombed, massacred civilians in Ukraine. It happened in 2014. It happened again. And it will happen again unless we stand strong, united with Ukraine, for Ukraine. It's insane that we still have to debate this. It's absolutely insane. Russia doesn't want peace. It wants control. It wants to rewrite history. It wants to erase Ukraine's independence. It wants to expand its imperialistic agenda. It wants to continue to invade. So when people talk about peace but refuse to support Ukraine, what they're actually saying is not peace. What they're actually saying is, give Russia what it wants, let the aggressor win. International law doesn't matter. The UN doesn't matter. Ukraine doesn't matter. We don't matter. The richest matter. The most powerful, the biggest aggressor. I don't know about you, but that's not a world I want to live in. A world where Putin is left unchecked after invading over and over again, after destroying cities, after destroying futures, lives, livelihoods, is not a world I want to see 5 years from now, because it won't stop. A world I want to see is a world where Ukraine wins. A world where Ukraine is rebuilt with the profits from seized Russian assets, where the debt is cancelled. I want to see a world where our forces, world forces, not just European, I think his Starmer's step of a coalition of the willing is a good first step. It's not enough. Why just Europe? As the speaker before mentioned, it's a war against imperialism, occupation. It's not Ukraine only. It goes from Ukraine to the DRC, to Palestine. We've seen countries that are invading, occupying, and nothing is stopping them. Right now, we're seeing the most powerful country in the world, the US, that gets to pull out last minute of promised support, and nothing happens. Clearly, this is a failed world order. How can we live in a world where Russia gets to veto every time there's a discussion about Ukraine? Still has a veto power at the United Nations. How is that the reality? It's completely insane. It's completely unacceptable. But I actually have hope after this depressing thing. I actually have hope. Because I think that Trump, with all of his madness, with his causing up to dictators from Putin to Netanyahu to all of the others, is giving us an insane opportunity to say, no, we'll actually stick together, we'll actually stand together for every freedom struggle, systematically, without failing. We'll support militarily, we'll send peacekeepers, we'll support financially, we'll support politically, diplomatically. We will sanction, put embargoes, kick those terrorist states out of the United Nations. We'll do everything that is needed. Now is the moment to do this. And for this, we need the coalition of the willing, but more. We need every country on earth to stand together with Ukraine. So let's start by cancelling the next visit of Trump, by boosting the coalition of the willing, and by protesting every single time until this happens. Slava Ukraini!
Stop Trump! No state visit! 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 Stop Trump!
No state visit!
Stop Trump! No state visit! Stop Trump! No state visit! Stop Trump!
And there's a petition going around calling on the government to cancel the visit. It's an insult to the people of Ukraine. It's an insult to us who are in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Our next speaker is an activist from, our next speaker is Eva from Razem, which is a left political party in Poland.
Hello, everyone. Will we start with some chants again? Occupation is no peace.
Occupation is no peace!
Occupation is no peace.
Occupation is no peace!
I didn't even prepare the speech for today because I really don't know what else can we say. Watching those imperialist powers from both sides trying to basically defeat us all, but we are here and we won't be defeated. And occupation is no peace, yes. And I wanted to just send a message of solidarity from Poland as well. Poland also understands the struggle with imperialist powers, and we will stay on your side. So please remember that as well. And today I think we also should think about other steps than just protesting that we can take. We should try and affiliate our unions with Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, join us as individuals to do beyond just like coming together, actually, build some sort of movement.
Tomorrow there is a meeting from the Stop Trumpain Coalition, which you can also join online or in person. And I think we just need to stay strong through all this time and continue fighting. So I guess last thing I wanted to add is that there's so many of us here and we had such a short notice. We need to think about ourselves as in terms of classes as well. We are the working class who's fighting against people like Trump who are representing the ruling classes and the capitalists. And we can win this through working across different topics and trying to organize within trade unions and within our groups. So let's continue doing that on all fronts. Thank you. Slava Ukraini!
Hello everyone, my name is Alexei. I came all the way from Bus today here because it's the moment where we need to unite and stand up. I'm an activist and student in Bus, and I prepared a little speech today. Thank you. Dear friends of Ukraine, supporters of democracy and defenders of freedom, I stand in front of you today, not as a politician, not as a diplomat, but as an 18-year-old student. A student who cannot sit still when one of Ukraine's most important strategic allies is making a decision that could cost Ukraine its future as a nation and countless lives of many people. Every day, I wake up and check my phone, not for messages from my friends or university emails, but to see if my loved ones are still alive. And I traveled all the way from Bus to